Classroom of the Elite Year 2 Volume 9. The volume where Ichinose stocks start to skyrocket after being in the red since Volume 11 of first year, and on the other hand we have K-bros like me who are basically on life support these past few volumes, and it does not look like things are gonna get better anytime soon. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel for my thoughts and review of Classroom of the Elite Year 2 Volume 9. I know I can technically start reading Volume 0 after 8, but I decided to wait until I'm done with the second year light novels first. If you guys think it's a better idea to read it before the end of second year, then comment down below and let me know. And now, without wasting any more time, let's finally dive into the volume. The volume starts with a Nagumo monologue, and I believe this is the very first monologue we have from him to start off a volume. After being pretty much irrelevant after the island exam, we're finally getting some more characterization for Nagumo. In his monologue, he talks about how he's always felt special compared to others and other people always trying to suck up to him. He was always the first in academics and even sports, but everything changed after he entered ANHS and encountered two people, Horikita Manabu and Ayano Koji Kiyotaka, and they both started to make him wonder whether he was truly talented or simply blessed with never finding people who could actually challenge him. I've never been a Nagumo fan aside from the moment in 11.5 where he finally acknowledges and respects Manabu, but I'm starting to really like the direction his character is currently going in. When he finally found Manabu, someone who could actually challenge him, they were separated by classes and could never properly compete against each other. He tried everything he could, but ultimately Manabu ended up graduating and Nagumo never found the answer he was looking for. I can finally understand Nagumo's fixation on Ayano Koji, and it's getting me pretty hyped for their eventual showdown before second year ends. Moving on, there was a special exam in this volume, but you can clearly tell that the author didn't want to write about it whatsoever. This was the most bare bones and low stakes special exam we have seen so far in the series. It's a simple written test where Horikita's class has to fight against Arisu and Ichinose has to fight against Ryuen. The winning class takes 50 points from the losing class, and the only unique thing about this exam is that students with lower OAA stats can get more points for answering questions compared to students with higher stats. It's a pretty neat concept that allows for the lower scoring students to become very useful assets for their classes, but less than 10% of the volume actually focuses on the exam itself. Like, it's actually hilarious that the non-special exams have more stakes than this one, because you straight up get expelled after failing a written test. The next big thing that happens in this volume is Nagumo officially retiring as the student council president. He calls for Ayano Koji and challenges him to a bet, which will serve as their final fight. They'll both pick a candidate to support in the upcoming presidential vote between Horikita and Ichinose. And the stakes are Nagumo asking for Ayano Koji's expulsion and Ayano Koji asking for 20 million private points. So yeah, this finally confirms the class change Kyo has been implying since Year 2 Volume 5. I was getting really hyped to see Nagumo and Kyo's long-awaited duel and wondering just how exactly Kyo was gonna secure more votes for his candidate than Nagumo, who has the entire third year under his control. But then, Ichinose drops the bombshell that she's quitting the student council and Horikita ends up becoming the president by default. I can't even lie, I'm pretty disappointed by how all this turned out. I thought that maybe the volume is gonna be dedicated to Ichinose regaining her confidence to fight Horikita for the presidential seat, but nothing like that happens in this volume, and Horikita just gets the position handed to her. Plus, this also delays the fight against Nagumo for a while, since the next volume is a .51. There was also the issue of Ryuen being framed as a shoplifter, but I just could not care about it whatsoever. I like Fuka as a character, but this plotline just felt so unnecessary and dragged out, and ultimately served to only show that not every single third year is content with how Nagumo is running things, which is something we've known for a while already. After that, we have Horikita recruiting people for the student council. The first person she chooses is none other than Kushida, and she literally has to get on her knees and beg her to join. A massive L for Horikita. I thought she would be able to outsmart Kushida this time, but ultimately had to beg her privately. We also had Ichika joining Kyo and Horikita, which made this section really fun to read. Always love me some peak Ichika screen time. And next up is the scene which took me by surprise. Horikita going to recruit Ishigami for the council. I think even Kyo was surprised to see his name coming out of Horikita's mouth like me. We finally have his face revealed and he definitely passes the vibe check. His design is great and the way he doesn't even bother to acknowledge Kyo beside Horikita definitely leaves a very strong first impression. He also ends up declining Horikita's offer and Nanase gets recruited as the first year student. Moving on, we have Kyo's meeting with Ichinose's classmates. I'm not gonna lie, this part was rough to read. Around 60 pages were dedicated to this scene and most of it felt like we were running around in circles. There's obviously some important stuff regarding Ichinose and the future of her class, but it easily could have been done in less than 20 pages. Before moving on to the stuff from this volume I actually liked, I have to let you guys know that I really did not enjoy reading this bloated section of the story that basically amounted to Ichinose's classmates asking Kyo to check up on her. And now let's finally talk about the juicy stuff, starting with Kyo and Kei's first ever fight. When Kyo gets asked to have a private talk with Ichinose, everyone wonders how he's gonna explain this to Kei, and we get this line from Kyo, saying that it's the perfect opportunity to try something he's been wanting to do with their relationship. He's finally found the perfect opportunity to engineer a fight and see how Kei reacts and feels like. Their argument was really hard to read as a Kei fan, and I'm not looking forward to the next few volumes. Then we have the date with Ichinose. This starts off really awkward and somewhat wholesome, before Ichinose starts going full yandere when Kyo asks about Amikura's type in guys for Watanabe. This scene was scary as hell and even Kyo was surprised by Ichinose in this scene. She instantly gets serious and pinpoints the exact reason he's asking that question, despite Kyo trying his best to keep it a secret. Then we have the scene in Kyo's bedroom where Ichinose reaffirms her feelings for him, and just as Kyo is about to reject her once again, Ichinose says that she's gonna become someone who'll make him turn his head and look at her. Like, goddamn bro, she's an absolute menace in this volume, especially with her shocking Arisu and Ryuen as well, who've been looking down on her recently. And I still haven't mentioned the craziest moment of this volume yet. After the special exam is over and Kei asks Sato for advice on what to do with the relationship, just as she was thinking that everything's gonna be fine, a classmate sends her a photo with Kyo and Ichinose coming out of the gym together. Then Ichinose herself appears in front of them like it's a K-drama or something and says that there's absolutely nothing going on between them, and silently adds, "Not yet anyways," after Kei leaves. Ichinose is genuinely scary as hell in this volume, and I'm definitely not prepared to see what she does next. I almost forgot to mention, but Horikita's class ends up winning against Arisu, and Ichinose also ends up winning, despite Ryuen's efforts to sabotage their class. And those were all the moments from this volume that I wanted to talk about. Overall, it's a decent volume, but it just feels way too bloated. Almost every conversation feels artificially extended for the sake of filling pages, and there were some baffling narrative choices I wasn't a fan of. If I'm being completely honest, it's one of my least favorite Tier 2 volumes so far, and the only thing saving it are the Kei and Ichinose scenes along with Ishigami's introduction. And that's pretty much all I have to say for this volume. Leave a like if you guys enjoyed the video, comment down below how you guys feel about this volume, and consider subscribing for more Classroom of the Elite and anime content. Peace.